memos. The documents appear to contain secret but not top secret information. Joining me now is NBC News military analyst, retired Army General Barry McCaffrey. Also joining in on this conversation is going to be Jon Soltz. He's co-founder and chair of VoteVets.org. We're going to start with General McCaffrey and ask you about what we're learning about these records. Directly, what's in here that could put our troops at risk?
Well, of course, Thomas, obviously the principal concern will be sources and methods on intelligence information. Do we have human intelligence sources, a spy cooperating with us in either the Taliban or in Pakistan among the tribes? If so, they'll get murdered. But the even larger problem, to be blunt, is the Taliban will be studying these now intensively, trying to determine what do we know about them and how are we learning it. Then they'll start changing their operating method. So for some period of time, this will have a bad impact on our ability to find these people and kill them.
Also, what is this telling you about the hemorrhage of information that's coming out of the secret services that are putting together information that are now falling into the wrong hands, and especially when we're talking about over 92,000 pages of information?
It is just beyond belief, and apparently another 15,000 still to come. Allegedly, this was a young soldier in Baghdad, for God's sakes, that managed to get into diplomatic cable traffic and then leaks, allegedly, and his own claim apparently, 250,000 of these cables. So, you know, it also could cause significant diplomatic harm to us. You know, the frank kind of language, muscular rhetoric that you'll get out of an ambassador when put out in public could cause significant relationship problems with our allies or in the region.
Also want to talk now and bring into the conversation Jon Soltz. And John, the WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange, says that the records appear to suggest war crimes. I want to take a listen to this and get your reaction on the other side. Take a listen.
It is up to a court to decide clearly whether something is, in the end, a crime. That said, prima facie, there does appear to be evidence of war crimes in this material. An example is the Task Force 373 HIMARS missile strike on a house which killed 7 children.
John, what's the fear of that?
Well, that actually bothers me. I actually think there's some stuff in these reports that's interesting that the public should really look at and when we study Afghanistan. But inside our military, we are very, very strict about our rules of engagement and how we proceed forward in combat. We take every precaution we can at the lowest levels to ensure civilians don't get killed. So if the purpose of the leaks or what WikiLeaks is trying to do is to get their names in the paper, and then, you know, U.S. troops become exposed to investigations that have already been conducted, and now their names end up in press. That's really disappointing, because we internally inside the military, we look very closely at all of these allegations. So what concerns me is that some of these troops that were involved in these things who've been cleared in military investigations now have to go through the process again when they've already been cleared.
All right, so just a short time ago, we had Press Secretary Gibbs calling this situation concerning development on operational security. Aside from the content of the documents, how concerned are you by the fact that we have a leak of this magnitude?
Well, I'm not quite sure operational security is at risk. Now, there's certain ways that we react tactically. And like I said, when there's thousands and thousands of pieces of document, if there's stuff in there that exposes how we like to react to an IED attack, which is, you know, a roadside bomber, you know, what it's like when we're calling in medevac, and I know there's been a lot of reports about some of the battles and calling in, you know, airstrikes, that would be, you know, a tactical issue where operational security be at risk. But you know, the question is why did they release this? Because I think when you look at the overall scope, one of the things that's really damaging is the problems with the Pakistani relationship with al-qaeda, the fact that we didn't have enough troops there for so long, the fact that the Karzai government may not be a partner. So when you look at this at a very broad-based perspective, it really lays a lot of question into what the Obama strategy is in Afghanistan. The downside of what this guy's doing is he's putting people at risk who don't belong into this argument in the public debate for his own gain, and that's a real concern for me.
Jon Soltz and Barry McCaffrey. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today during this conversation. I know we're going to be talking about this for a long time to come.